You ever have one of those weeks where you realize the universe isn't just testing your patience, it's running you through an obstacle course for its own entertainment? Yeah, that was me, spring of last year, when I thought I'd finally gotten away from all the noise. After decades dealing with government red tape, negotiating with hostage takers, bouncing between disaster zones, man, I was done. Done with chaos. Done with people who confuse authority for power. So I bought a piece of land south of Shenandoah, just hickory, ash, and me, and I thought, this is it, finally, some peace. I'd spent most of winter sketching up how I was going to pull off the roof. Fix the insulation. Turns out a family of raccoons thought the attic was their own personal mini-barn now. With the sun out, I was sweating on a ladder, feeling like maybe, just maybe, the world had left me alone for once. 10 acres, paid for, off-grid. I rigged up solar, composting toilet, septic barrel, generator, kept it legal but Simplino plumbing, no one to tell me my grass was too long. Out here, the only committee I answered to was myself. And then, because peace is always temporary, I noticed the car. A black Audi SUV, sitting out on the trail where the county road turns gravel, right on the edge of my property. Tinted windows, engine running, but no one got out. Stayed there a little too long for sightseeing, a little too short for a breakdown. Next day, I find a thick white envelope under a rock at my gate. No stamp, just to occupant. Inside, Maple Hollow HOA letterhead, heavy on the logo and attitude. It was from Karen Eldridge, president, and it read like a ransom note. She said my unauthorized fencing was blocking the ecological corridor between sectors 11 and 12, whatever that means, and I was to cease all off-grid power use, harmonize my visual presence, and vacate until reviewed by the expansion committee. Bolded, underlined, the works. You ever get a letter so absurd you laugh out loud alone in your boots? Still smelling of pine resin and last week's sweat? That was me. The nearest edge of her little HOA fantasy was a full mile away. But here she was, thinking she ran the woods. I walked inside, dug out my deed, tax map, and county GIS overlay, all laminated, and highlighted where it said private land, not subject to HOA covenant or easement. Sent a scan to my lawyer just in case. Drafted a response. You have no jurisdiction. Any future contact is harassment. Step on my property again and it's trespass. State law. Sent it certified mail, return receipt. Hung a new sign on the gate. Private property. Not part of Maple Hollow. Trespassers will be recorded and prosecuted. Trail cam, motion light, decoy camera just to spice it up. I figured that'd be the end of it because, I used to be an optimist. 8 days later, walking my west boundary, I spot 2 men, one big, tactical vest, the other wiry, clipboard, property consultant vest just stepping over my corner post like the rules didn't apply to them. The big one, sunglasses, radio, chest puffed up, introduces himself as Doug Eldridge, security committee. That's not even a real thing in an HOA. His partner starts snapping pictures of my solar setup, muttering about code violations. I step out of the brush. Gentlemen, this is private land. Time to turn around. Doug looks me up and down, smirking. According to our revised overlay, this falls in our expansion boundary. That fence is obstructing access lanes. You'll want to move it sooner rather than later. I let out a short laugh. You people have lost your minds. The clipboard guy keeps circling, but now he's looking a little less sure of himself. You got a warrant or a sheriff? Ask. No? Then get moving. Doug tries to square up on me, puffing his chest, and suddenly every negotiation I ever did with someone holding a shotgun flashes through my brain. I don't flinch. Instead, I slowly lift my drone controller. You've been recorded since you crossed the fence. Audio, video, GPS. You want to keep going. That got a reaction. He shoves me. Not hard, just a push, but enough to light up every defense system I'd spent years learning to turn off. I don't retaliate, I just pull my phone and call the sheriff. You just committed assault, and it's all on camera. Doug blusters. You think this is law? No. But the guy on the other end of this line is. The clipboard guy whispers something and starts backing away. Doug's gears are grinding, trying to decide if he wants to double down or walk. When he hears me talking to dispatch, he finally turns and leaves. Deputy Harris shows Upus to sit in my classes, small world, and takes my statement, reviews the footage, the deed, the whole pile. Doug Eldridge, he mutters, trying to revive the neighborhood watch. Gung-ho, not much sense. Charges filed. Trespass. Assault. Evidence bagged. I watch Harris drive away, sun setting through the trees. It should have felt like victory, but all I could think was, this is just round one. Next morning, the woods felt off, like everything was holding its breath. While I'm fixing the rain diverter, my phone buzzes. Voicemail from a sheriff's deputy. Someone called in a report about an unstable, armed male in an unregistered structure with possible PTSD. Wellness check incoming. You know that pit in your stomach? Yeah. I call dispatch, explain who I am, give badge numbers, parcel info, even drop the name of the deputy who took my statement yesterday. They're already sending a car. 15 minutes later, 2 deputies, one of them, Taylor, an old disaster buddy, walk up, hands clear. We sit on my porch. I show them every license, every permit, every compliance document, down to my composting toilet. Taylor whistles. This is more organized than half the places on our registry. The other deputy, Daniels, checks the perimeter, the cameras, everything. I show them the drone video, HOA letter, county overlay. Taylor's face tells me what I already know. This is harassment, not concern. Turns out Karen's been making calls like this about anyone who doesn't fit the look of her neighborhood. I ask them to log everything, request a no-contact order. Not looking for war, but I'm not playing defense forever. They agree and tell me to lock my gate tight. That night, I'm installing motion alarms, programming the drone to patrol every hour, updating cameras. I even print new signs. You are being recorded. This property is not yours. Because at this point, peace is for the naive. Things escalate fast. Karen calls in another report this time that I'm digging pits with barbed wire. She's got the deputies running in circles. Meanwhile, I catch Doug on drone footage, shirtless, raging on his porch, smashing planters, yelling, until cops show up and put him down face first in the hydrangeas. The whole scene's so dramatic you'd think Netflix was filming a pilot. Doug ends up in county lockup, denied bail. His priors start surfacing, a rap sheet from Richmond to here. Karen's next move? She goes online, posts on Nextdoor about the dangerous man in the woods with photos she took from my social media, calling me unstable, possibly armed, a threat. Comments explode. But then the twist. Former HOA members start chiming in. She did the same thing to my cousin. Tried to find my mom for the color of her house. Word spreads. A journalist picks up the story, publishes The Sovereign Shack. One man's fight against HOA overreach. Suddenly, my inbox is full other landowners, local news, legal advocates, all wanting to know how I stood my ground. Even my lawyer, Maya, gets in touch, sharper than barbed wire. She files civil suits. Harassment, defamation, interference. Karen tries to spin it as concern for the community, but the evidence stacks mails, video, every fake expansion map, every bogus fine. It all comes to a head in court. The judge doesn't even need a break. Karen's found guilty of false reporting, harassment, abusive process. Doug's charges are separate but tied to her. The HOA gets dissolved, pending state audit. Karen's banned from HOA participation for life. Doug's not going anywhere for a while, and the judge sets a 200-yard buffer around my land first time in county history. The silence afterward felt earned. I rebuilt my porch with reclaimed wood, carved a sign. Trespassers will be educated. Legal department, me. People started showing up, wanting to know how I did it. Old couples, young families, everyone's sick of being bullied by fake authority. I never wanted to be a movement, but I guess when you fight for your own peace, you end up fighting for everyone's. So yeah, maybe they still call me the bearded sovereign out here, and maybe I'll never get those quiet mornings back exactly the way they were. But now, when someone asks if it was worth it, if standing your ground matters against the Karens and Dougs of the world, I just nod, crack a little grin, and say, you know what I mean? What about you? Where do you stand when community rules cross the line? Drop your story below. Let's hear how you'd handle it, or maybe how you already did. Justice isn't quiet, Not anymore.